There are one other callers on the call.
Hello, everyone. Looks like we're going to have a full house this evening, so we're going to get started as quickly as I can. Give me a second. Any of you guys that can use headphones would be appreciated. I've got some feedback coming from somebody. Let's all maybe try to turn our volumes down on our computers, and that might help. Otherwise, I'll go through and mute people individually and see if I can find the feedback. Let me see here. Nope. Nope.
Scotty looks like Rex.
Rex, when I just muted you, the feedback went away. So, Rex, if you might turn down a little bit for us. Okay, well, let's get... let me try this again. Let's see.
No.
All right, hopefully that will... everybody's picture looks really good tonight. Very clear internet. Joan, your internet connection is really good.
Thank you.
Give me just a couple more minutes here. All right, Rex, I'm going to unmute you and see if we've found a solution to the problem here. All right. Rex, we might have some feedback going on. So if you have some headphones or something, throw them on. All right, well, let's get started, and if the feedback becomes a major problem, I'll mute Rex out, and then when we get to your question, Rex, I'll unmute you. Bob, you're at the top of the list, so let's start with you. Bob, what have you got this evening?
Can't hear.
Created a document in Pages, made a copy of it, modified it to reflect the changes for my wife, and in the process, after having saved it a couple times, came back to it and attempted to insert a carriage return, and the whole thing went blank. Based upon past experience, I said, well, all I have to do is close it and the last save.
Yes.
Now, I noticed that Pages has a command that says revert to last save.
Okay, you want to know how to find that command in Pages? Is that your question?
I'm mistaken.
No, I found it, but should it not, or did it, and I just screwed it up.
No, I found it, but should it not, or did
That's
it,
a
and I
confusing
just screwed
point
it
to a
up.
lot of people, and unfortunately we got a lot of disturbance going on tonight. I'm not sure what it is, Rex. I'm not 100% sure it's coming from you, but I'm just going to kind of barge through this for a second. Bob, to answer your question, in the newest version of the operating system, 10.8, and the newest version of Pages, which it sounds like you're on, you can quit Pages and it won't even ask you to save. It will just save automatically. So that's a really nice feature. So many of us are so used to save every paragraph, save again and save again. Nowadays we don't have to necessarily do that anymore. Apple keeps a little queue of about once every 5 minutes or so of all the changes that are happening to a document within Pages. That's not the same case with Microsoft Office. So to answer your question, you don't have to save, and it doesn't prompt you to save anymore.
Okay, well, that is informative. Then I went to Time Machine to try to find the immediate prior version of that document.
Okay, well, that is informative. Then I went to Time Machine to
Time
try to
Machine
find
runs less frequently than
prior
Pages
version of
does.
that document,
So if you open up a
bring
new
again,
Pages
make the
document
changes I
and you
wanted to
start
make.
working on it, there's a
can't find
chance
it.
that you could work on it for, say, 45 minutes to an hour before Time Machine actually copies it to Time Machine's hard drive. Is it a situation where that was the case, or was this an older document that you still just could not find?
I'm looking for an earlier document that I had troubles with. In other words,
Okay.
not the most recent, but an earlier version.
Okay, well, that should be in
I'm
Time
looking for
Machine,
an earlier
and
version
most
of that
likely it's in the
document that I
document.
had
Well,
troubles with.
wait, let me back up.
In other words,
If,
not the
Bob,
most
you
recent-
saved that document, when you first open up
An earlier
Pages,
version.
it asks you a question. It says, would you like to save it to your hard drive, or would you like to save it to iCloud? If you're saving that document to iCloud, Time Machine's not backing it up. iCloud's got it.
Okay. I don't remember given the choice, but let's pretend it is in the cloud. How do I go find it?
Well, if it's in the cloud, you would only be able to rely on Page's
Okay.
ability to
I
recover
don't remember
changes.
given the
But if you were
choice,
looking
but
for it
let's
in the cloud, I'm going to
pretend
open up
it is
Pages
in the
here,
cloud.
and I'm on the world's
How do
slowest
I go
computer, so
find it?
forgive the speed that it takes to open up. But when you open up Pages, it first prompts you, where would you like to open a document from, or would you like to create a new document? And you have a choice, iCloud bucket, computer hard drive bucket. And to my knowledge, Time Machine does not back up iCloud chosen documents. So let me see if I can pull that up here. I'm still waiting for my Pages to launch.
Documents existed.
Here it is.
Documents existed simultaneously or concurrently on my desktop in a folder.
Say that part again.
The original document of mine, which I
Documents
called
existed.
my wife and my
The two documents
both
existed
of those versions
simultaneously or concurrently
reside in
on my
a folder on my
desktop in a folder.
Okay. Well, if those lived...
Is that
Eliminate the cloud as an issue.
Yes, if they
original
lived on
document
your desktop in a
of
folder,
mine,
then the cloud has
which
nothing
I
to do with
cloned
it.
and made a copy for my
If that
wife
was the
and
case,
modified
then
for her.
I have found
Both
the
of those
easiest way
versions
to deal with Time Machine.
reside
Apple would like you to
in a
use this
folder
crazy
on my
space
desktop.
interface where you go up to the top right-hand
Now, does
area
that look
and you
like the
select
cloud is an
Enter
issue?
Time Machine. And if you enter Time Machine, then your screen turns into like a space shuttle launch. It's
Okay.
really just disorienting. So what I like to do instead is open up a Finder window and navigate down through the folder structure a lot more intentionally. Do you have your Time Machine? And we're going to jump to the next person in just a second. Bob, do you have your Time Machine drive connected right this very second?
It's on my desktop. I can double click it. and
Okay,
open it up. Is that what you're
great.
asking?
Yeah, I'm going to send a request for us to look at your screen, and we're going to jump over to you in a second. So when you see that request, allow that, Bob, and we're going to all be able to look at your screen.
I believe I did that.
Okay.
It's on my desktop. I can double click it.
Okay.
And bring it up. Is that what you're
So
asking?
now you see on your left-hand column, we see Time Machine as one of those.
Okay.
And that's great. For my purposes, up here in the top, go across to the third button. Not the squares, not the lines, but the column view. Nope, go back over to the, in that Finder window.
I believe I
There
did
you
that.
go, a little closer. Right, up and to the third button. That's column view. Up a little bit higher. Yes, the third button. That's the second. The third button. That's it. Select column view. Okay. After you've selected column view, now you'll see backup stop backup DB. Select that folder. Now choose the iMac that's the backup folder. Yep, that's it. Now you'll see a historical list of all your backups. Navigate down to about a month ago, let's say. So scroll down into early September. And you see this is 2013, 9/3. So choose one of those. And now you just keep on navigating, Bob. Macintosh HD, then you're going to go to your users folder. Your users folder is in there somewhere. Don't be...
Here's the problem.
They're looking at the person's screen so that they can.
Go ahead.
OS 9 is my old desktop. It's not my current one. I don't see my current desktop.
I'm going to help you. Go to the users folder at the very bottom of that column. Users folder. Keep going. Now you're going to pick your user, which is Bob. And now you're going to get to your desktop folder, which is right there. And that would contain
This desktop,
the files
OS 9
as
is
of
my
that day,
old
which I think we're in
desktop.
September of
It's not
something.
my current one.
Maybe
I don't
September
see my
1st.
current
That would
desktop.
contain whatever was happening on your desktop on that day would be it.
Got it?
Did you hit the jackpot?
There's mine. I haven't found hers yet, so it must be earlier. Okay, but now I know how to get to it.
All right, we're gonna jump to Daryl. Daryl, what have you got this evening?
Two quick things, and then the rest of my time I'm going to give to
Yeah.
Joan, because I know she's got a lot of questions.
All right.
Because I know she couldn't wait. I know she couldn't wait to update, so she already did. But she's got a ton of questions.
Understood.
There's mine. I haven't found hers yet, so it must be earlier. Okay,
Well,
but now I
Daryl,
know
what have you
where-
got for
how to
us?
get to it. Gosh,
Gmail having troubles today. It's being delayed
Two
for
quick
an
things,
hour.
and then the rest of my time I'm going to
I
give
have
to
not
Joan.
been aware
because
of
I know
that,
she's got a lot of
but
questions. Because I know
but
she
it-
couldn't wait.
nothing
I know she
surprises
couldn't
me.
wait to update, and so she already
has
did,
anybody else
and she's
online
got a
tonight
ton of
had
questions.
issues with
You'll be
Gmail delays
surprised. I made an intelligent decision, I
today?
think.
All right. Well, go ahead. Keep going, Daryl.
Okay. Gmail having troubles today. It's being delayed about an hour for messages.
The new version
You know anything about that?
has a whole bunch of different things that I haven't seen before. So if you go to your system.
All right.
Excuse me.
Let me pause you, Daryl. Are you talking about iOS 7? Are you talking about the iPhone?
On the
Okay.
on the
All right.
program updates,
All right, so
the
go
new
ahead.
version, of course, has a whole
right.
bunch of different things that I haven't seen before. So if you go to your
Okay. I thought we were talking about iOS 7.
system
Okay. System
and go
preferences on the
to
computer.
your iPhone
Because,
and look at your
and then go to apps.
7. Yes, iOS
Apps back on the phone.
system, and then or on your computer. If you go to system on your computer.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm sorry. Go to iTunes on your computer.
All right.
Well, we are because. And
I'm trying to open up
and then go
iTunes
to
here,
apps.
and here is iTunes and apps. Okay.
iTunes.
And what
apps.
about apps in iTunes?
iTunes? Not system preferences. iTunes on the computer.
Different screen.
Well, you want us to jump over and take a look at you?
Sure, you could do that.
Okay. I appreciate everybody else's patience. We got a lot of people on the call tonight. We'll try to get through everybody as quickly as we can, and hopefully not rush past your
Yeah.
questions. But I do have a habit of doing that. Okay, we're looking at Daryl's screen. Daryl, you were
That's
explaining about
not
apps.
what
Oh,
I'm
you were
looking
talking
at.
about within the
I'm
iPhone
looking at a
preferences
different
itself.
screen.
Okay, or the iPad in your case.
Uh,
All right. What about it?
These
Oh,
things,
sure, you can do
install,
that.
remove, install those. Are those new? Are they different?
This ability to take off or add on has been around forever, but the color of the buttons changed in the last couple of updates of iTunes. However, Daryl, with that being said, I never even go into this area anymore. I never connect my phone and manage my apps from this screen. I do it remotely from my phone now. I hardly
these
ever
things, install,
connect a wire
remove,
and go to iTunes.
install those. Are those new? Are they different?
So if I wanted to delete an app on all 4 of my devices, I have to delete it in 4 places.
That's right. Delete it off the iPad, delete it off the iPhone, delete it off the iPod Touch, delete it off the iPad Mini. There is the ability to sync with, if you buy an app, they can all land on all the other devices. If you go into your preferences and say, hey, I want to sync my apps when I purchase one or when I acquire one, but we cannot have an ability to take off the apps off of all the devices.
Okay,
That
so if
doesn't
I wanted
exist
to
yet.
delete an
So
app
in other
on
words,
all
there's
4
no
of
way
my
to sync
devices,
deleting apps
have to
off of
delete it
iOS
in 4
devices
places?
as of 2013.
Okay,
All right, you got anything else?
that's it.
All right, I'm going to jump over to Imaday. Imaday, what have you got this evening for us?
I missed the first part of what you said. I saw some requests to you want to go up to iOS 7, but I don't know if we did it. Should I do it now?
Whether or not, so Imaday's asking whether or not to move up to iOS 7. And my general rule, and the only person that doesn't
Okay.
listen to me is Joan. Joan is historically...
No,
That's
you're
it.
going to be surprised.
Okay. But Apple released the new version of the phone
I
this
missed the
week.
first part of what you
It's called
said,
iOS 7. And it
I
has a lot
saw
of major
some
changes.
requests
The
to you want to
major
go up
change
to
really is
iOS
just the
7,
overall look
but I don't know
of
if we did it.
of
Should
what
I
the
do
phone
it or
feels
not?
like and what it looks like. In Imaday, My major complaint or my major concern is that over the years, as I've gotten older, my eyes don't work as well as they used to.
You're going to be
And
surprised.
the major issue that I have found with iOS 7 is that there's a lot of gray on white. And I have found that to be problematic. However, I have found a pretty good solution.
Yes.
Now with iOS
Major.
7, you can increase the size of the text in a lot of places. Let me see if I can find that. So if you go in, and here it is, text size. If you go in and you actually increase the size of the text a little bit, in the places where the text is gray, that does help quite a bit. So I would suggest, if you're going to download iOS 7, and we all are going to eventually, go into text size and maybe increase the size of the words just a little bit if your eyes are a little bit like mine, because I can barely see anymore. All right, Emma Day?
What are the advantages of going to iOS 7?
Well, I don't think there's so much a list of advantages. It's more of you're going to have to do this whether you like it or not, because within 6 months, you're going to download an app and it's going to go, oh, I'm sorry, Emma Day, you can't download this app if you don't have iOS 7. So they're going to force us into iOS 7 whether we like it or not. iOS 7 was a major change for Apple in philosophy as far as the design of what the apps look like. Things are more flat. They're not as three-dimensional as in terms of buttons and lifting off of things. There are, like for instance, in Safari, there are changes in Safari where now you have this structure where you can go through all the different pages that you've had open, and if you want to get rid of one, you swipe over or swipe to the left. Little things that we have to relearn, but they're not all that tough. You're going to have to do it eventually anyway, Emma Day. My suggestion to everybody listening is, before you jump into any new operating system or any new update, you always wait a week or so and let the major problems fall. And I don't want to say major, but let everybody yell at each other about it first, and then you can read and you go, okay, this is the problem. Everybody's complaining about this, or everybody's complaining about that. And then you make the conscious decision to say, okay, I'm going to update my device knowing that I have to deal with this little issue. And there are always issues.
Hey, Scotty?
Yes, sir.
Scotty, in today's Charlotte Observer was an article about the new iOS 7, and it talked about swiping and some changes there.
Yes. They're big changes.
Which are apparently not documented anywhere else, so somebody might want to get a copy of that observer and save that article.
Yeah.
Okay, so
There.
we're going to get lessons and how to work the voting in.
Well, we can talk about it right now. One of the things that Bob's talking about is how you get to things. Back in the old days of iOS 6, we would swipe to the left. If you can see on my screen the phone, we would swipe to the left, and that's where we could search for things. If we swiped all the way to the left, a little search bar would pop up. Now Apple is asking us to take a finger, and it's interesting. We don't drag the finger from the very top, but you drag it around the middle somewhere, and if you pull downward, then you get the search bar. So you have to pull in the middle. Now, if you pull from the very top, way up almost where the ear speaker is, then you get, and I've got to take my phone out of the case here. Excuse me a second. If you pull from the very top, then you're back to Notification Center again. So there are two ways to pull from the top. From the very top to get notifications, or from the middle of the phone to get your search area. That fine little adjustment is something that we all have to get used to. The best thing, I guess, to answer your question earlier in the day, one of my favorite things about iOS 7 is Notification Center. Control Center. If you go from the bottom, down at the very bottom of your phone, and you move upward, let me see if I can make it happen, then you get this really handy area. I don't like that it's in grayscale. I'd rather this be color. But you get a real quick, easy way to get to all your stuff. So for instance, I want to turn my Bluetooth off. I just touch that little Bluetooth button and it goes off. So we have this little area that slides up from the bottom. This is now where I control my music. If I need a flashlight real quick, I can turn the flashlight on. That's handy. And the way that I got there was swiping up. There are bugs if I'm in a Maps application. Let's say I'm in Google Maps and I try to swipe up from there. Sometimes it gets a little bit more difficult because the directions get in the way. I have found that to be the case. But these are all things that they'll work out as time goes on. Okay, Emma Day?
Okay, is that the same thing with
Yeah.
the
iPad?
iPad.
Yes. Yeah, the operating system iOS 7 is going to come to the iPad. It's already there. You can download it and it looks pretty much the same. You just have to get used to different things. For instance, we used to think, oh, I want to go to my picture, so I need to look for the picture of a flower. And if I found that picture of a flower, I could touch it real quick. Now the picture is sort of this Kodachrome looking rainbow flower right here. And for those of you who have not played around with the Photos app yet, I think that's one of the largest improvements with pictures. If I want to look for a picture that I took in August of 2012, man, it's a lot easier now. I touch on the photos. It gives me a breakdown. Let me back up a little bit. It gives me a breakdown of all the years that I took pictures. And in this case, I can then kind of go in and really drill down and find. I was in San Francisco last week, so I can drill right down into San Francisco pictures and look at where I took pictures of the America's Cup. So it's really, the Photos app is a lot better, I think. Imitate?
Okay, so if you have a 4S, it doesn't matter if you don't have a 915.
That's correct. That's correct. You can use iOS 7 on the 4S.
I feel like Google is pushing us into Google with, I don't think I had the mountain lion downloaded directly in the first place, but now it seems like everything is doing things differently. I don't know what I think.
Well, there is a race between Apple and Google to win us all over, and Google has their followers, Apple has their followers. There was an article on CNN.com earlier that I just looked at where it's basically saying BlackBerry users have got to make a choice here pretty soon because in a couple of months there won't be any more BlackBerry. That's just an outlook, but there's certainly, when was the last time you saw somebody using a BlackBerry? So Google and Apple are in heavy competition with each other. And they're always trying to one-up each other, and competition is a great thing. Google has the Android operating system. The Galaxy phones by Samsung are really good phones. They have really big screens, and that's going to push Apple to have to make a move to make a larger screen in the coming, the next iteration of the phone next year. That'll have to happen.
Now, I feel I've tried to use the Google Maps like you said, but it won't talk to me. So I went back to the Apple Maps.
And yes, and Google Maps will talk to you, but maybe it's just a little confusing. The Apple Maps on iOS 7 are improved. They're a lot better than they were. I've been using, you can see they're on both on my same screen. I've got the Google Maps, which I use mostly, and then Apple Maps right up here. They're getting closer to each other, but I do still prefer Google Maps. Google Maps will talk to you, actually. If I go into Google and let's say I need to do a search, I need to get to this location here. When I'm ready to go, I will go down here and I'll say, all right, let's go. And now I'm going to say start, and it will talk, but I need to turn that talking on. You see over here, I've got in the bottom right-hand area, there's 3 dots. If I touch those 3 dots, it pulls up here. Right now, I've got the voice guidance muted. But if I unmute it, then she'll talk to me. So I'm not traveling anywhere right now, but if I were, she would say, hey, you need to turn left or right, that kind of thing. But yeah, and Google Maps is not integrated into Siri. So if I said, let me see. I'm trying to think of somebody. I need directions to Daryl Orcutt. Now, Google Maps is not going to open up to show me where Daryl is. It's going to, and I'll choose one. So Google Maps is not integrated into that. Apple Maps is integrated into that. So this shows me then how to get to Daryl's house. That's nice if I'm in the car and I don't want to fumble around.
2332 Oakmead Drive. Head southwest on Morley Drive, then turn left onto Timber Dockland.
So you can see that Apple has improved the quality of the voice as well. Let me get in and stop that.
Well, when I was reading about it, it said you had to download all of your contacts to Google.
Yes, if you want to go into Google Maps and you want, let's say with Daryl, if I wanted to go find where Daryl was, if I type to the top here, if I type in Daryl, Daryl's not going to show up here, I don't think, because my contacts are not in Google. And that's another reason I don't use Google Maps. If I wanted my contacts in Google, then I would need to sync my Google contacts with my iCloud contacts, and that's a little bit more confusing than I care to deal
Starting
with.
route to
I like to stick with
2332
iCloud for the
Oakmead
most part.
Drive. Head
But,
southwest on
there are other
Worley
reasons that I
Drive,
use
then
Google
turn
Maps.
left onto Timber
Emma
Dock.
Day, I'm gonna be moving on here in a second. You got one more question, follow up?
No, I just have to. Well, when I was
All right,
reading about
Joan,
it,
I'm gonna move to you, and Joan, if you'll speak up, I'm having trouble hearing everybody
download
tonight.
all your
What have you got, Joan? Take it
contacts
away.
to Google
I think
instead of
I made,
Apple.
for once, a good decision. I know you know that I'm the queen of updates.
Yes.
So what I did, I have an iPhone 4S that does not have cellular service, that's just been sitting in a drawer for a year.
Yeah.
So I updated to iOS 7 on that. So I've been able to play with it, help my friends, whatever. But the devices that I actually use, I have not updated until I spoke with you tonight.
That's very, very smart. Not all of us have an extra device around, but
No, I'm just
that's what I do. Whenever something comes out, I usually beta it on another.
I collect them.
Yeah, that's very smart. If you ever are going to do it, you basically use that iPhone 4S as a guinea
I think
pig
I
to
made,
see, to kind of
for
get
once,
used to
a
it.
good
Because
decision.
if you make a
I
living
know
off
you-
of your device,
you
like
know
I do,
that
I
I'm
make
the
a living off of
queen
my
of
iPhone.
updates.
And
So
time
what
is
I
money to
did,
me. And normally I have 30 minutes to get
an
from point A to point
iPhone
B.
4S
And sometimes I don't have
that
30
does
minutes.
not
And I need to go
have
in and I need to be able to
cellular
hit buttons and
that's just been
start
sitting
going as
in a
quickly as
drawer
possible.
for a
And
year.
iOS 7 breaks
So
that down
I
a little bit for me.
updated to
Normally,
iOS 7
I'm going to
on
go
that.
into this
So
particular
I've been
app, and
able
I'm
to
going
play with
to try to
it,
hit.
help my friends,
I'm
whatever.
going to go into my schedule
But
for
the
today.
devices
And, okay, this is
that
the
I
person I need to
actually
go see,
use,
and I need to go
I
find his.
have
And
not
I'm touching on his
updated
address,
until
but
I
nothing's
spoke with you
happened.
tonight.
So iOS has broken things, or it takes you to the map, but then when you touch to open it in Google Maps up here at the top, nothing happens. So little things like that get broken, and if you make a living off your
collect 'em.
device like I do, those little 2-minute segments throughout your day end up making me 15 minutes late to everybody's session.
Yeah.
So, but unfortunately in my business, I have to go ahead and go on with it because I don't have multiple phones. But anyway, that was really smart.
Now, should I go Sure. ahead and update slowly one device at a time?
Well, the reason that I tell people, remember the whole concept of not updating automatically is to not get yourself into some major trouble that Apple's not aware of. For instance, a lot of you have read that in the last couple of days, somebody's broken the fingerprint sensor workaround. People have already found a way around that. Well, we knew that was going to happen, and anything can be broken, and it was really quick. So if security is your main concern, maybe before you go buy an an iPhone 5S with the fingerprint sensor, maybe you wait for a while. So with iOS 7, let's say iOS 7 is crashing constantly and there's major problems in the first day and they come out and they say, oh my gosh, iOS 7 is terrible. That's not being said. That's not the response that we're getting. Generally, the response is
Now,
Apple
should
just
I
sold
go-
9
Should I go
million
ahead
phones over the
and
weekend.
update slowly
More
one
than
device at a
ever,
time?
twice as more than ever.
'Cause
If
what-
iOS 7 was a bad piece of software, we would that's all we'd be hearing about now. Yeah, there are little problems, but overall it's pretty stable.
Right. Okay, then I have just a yes or no question. When I get text messages, they come in immediately to my old iPhone
Right.
that has no cellular service and my newer iPhone.
Yes.
They are really slow coming into my laptop and my
Not
iMac.
at all.
Yeah, that's through iMessage. So
Big lag of time.
yeah, so what she's talking about is through iMessage, and let's just review. Let's back up for a second, and the difference between messaging
It's not.
if you get a green message, I don't even know anybody that has this person. Okay, so well, I'm trying to. Pretty much all my contacts are iOS contacts
Right.
or Apple contacts. But if you did get a text message from someone and it's green, that means that they have a Droid or they're using another texting service. And
Right, but these are all.
Okay, then I have just
I know I'm just
a
leading
yes or
up.
no
I'm just
question.
giving background information to lead up to
When I
answer your
get
question,
text
because
messages,
other people
they
come
come
in,
in
kind of go through and listen to
immediately
this. So I'm
to
answering
my
a question
old
about the green and
iPhone
blue
that
before
has no
anybody
cellular
emails me about the
service
green and blue
and
if they're
my
listening to
newer
this.
iPhone.
So the green messages are
They
not
are
iOS.
really
And you're
slow
not going to get
coming
those on your
into
computer.
my
That's the whole reason I brought that up.
laptop
You
and
will
my
not get
iMac.
green messages on your computer or your
Big
say your
lag
iPad.
of time.
But you're talking about iOS messages, and they're coming on your iOS messaging app on your phone and on your iPad real quickly, but they're not coming quickly on your computers. The only thing that I could tell you to try to do is to open up the Messages app, and when you open that Messages app on your computer, log out and log back in again. So I'm trying to pull Messages up right now. Let's see if it'll pull up. And again, I'm on a real slow. But I didn't hear you, Bob. Say that again.
These are all iPhone people. Okay, sorry.
Oh, that's you? Usually my dog's the one going crazy, but, well, anyway, Joan, if my computer would cooperate with me, I would show you in Messages Preferences the ability to log out of the account and log back into the account. So try that, and then have somebody send you a couple text messages. There it comes in, and see if that helps at all. All right? All right. I'm going to jump over now to...
Okay, thank you.
all right, Nancy. Nancy, that's you. How are you, Nancy? Can you hear me, Nancy?
Right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Nancy, how are you?
Good, okay. I have two questions. One is my time machine hasn't backed up since September 9th.
Scotty, I want to apologize for my
Okay.
And then the other is, I need to, my daughter's iPad for school, she needs to update it, and I don't have it.
I wanted to apologize for my cat.
Okay. Let's talk about the iPad inability to update first. This iPad is the same as the iPhone, so I'm going to use my iPhone to go through that. So what I need to do first is, if I don't have enough memory to do something like run an update or something like that, then I need to find out what is taking up all the space. So I'm going to go to my phone or my iPad, and I'm going to go to Settings. Once I go to Settings, I'm going to go down into, I believe it's General, and then I'm going to go to About. Once I'm there, it's going to give me the ability to look at what songs do I have, what videos do I have, what photos, and in my case, I have a capacity of 13 gigs, and I only have 50 megs left.
Can you hear me?
That means I have filled this thing up. And if you look, I don't have any songs. I barely have a couple videos. So I have 55 applications and 1,400
I have two
photos.
questions. One is my
What I need to do
time
is take
machine
pictures
hasn't
off of this
backed up
phone
since
so that I can
September
run the
9th.
update. And in
I
your
don't know
case,
what's
it might
going
be
on there.
videos or it might be songs or whatever.
And then the other is,
so the way to do
I
that,
need
once
to,
you found the
my daughter's
culprit,
iPad
go
for
into
school,
iTunes.
she needs to
With your phone
update
connected,
it, and
on
I don't
the
have
left-hand
enough memory.
column, you're going to find your phone. Now, I'm not going to find it in this one because I've not updated iTunes to work with this new operating system yet. But in your left-hand column on your phone, on your iTunes, you'll see your phone listed. Once you click on your phone, down at the very bottom, you'll see a little how do I say it? A bar graph that will give you the ability to see. Okay, basically, it's just a graphic representation of everything that you've got over here as far as videos, pictures, and things. Once you've found what the culprit is, you go into your iPhone settings on the left-hand side, and then across the top you'll see music, photos. Select that and remove the ones that are taking up all the space. Is that helping you a little bit?
So I do that on my iPhone, not my iPad?
Do it on the iTunes. Do it in iTunes. Now you're going to use your iPad. Your iPad's going to connect, and you're going to open up iTunes, and then in the left-hand column, your iPad will show up. You'll select your
Because you've been saying iPhone this whole time.
iPad, iPhone, interchangeable. Interchangeable. It's iOS 7. I should be saying iOS 7 device. How about that?
Okay, well, how do I know? Like, I have 132 songs, 49 videos, 1,300 photos. How do I know which one of those is the culprit?
Well, there are two candidates there. 49 videos and 1,300 photos. Do you see the capacity of your iPhone? What's the capacity?
It is 13.8.
Okay, so same one that I have, you round that up to a 16 gig iPhone. How much do you have available?
1.6.
1.6 gigs.
Right.
Okay, so you have 1.6 gigs, and iOS 7 probably needs at least 2 gigs to kind of feel comfortable. So I would take the videos off. I would plug my iPad up. I would go into iTunes. I would click on the iPad in
So
the
I
left-hand
do that on my
column.
iPhone, not my
Across
iPad?
the top, you're going to see videos. Select videos, and then uncheck the videos that you don't want. Another way that you could do it is just forget about using iTunes completely. If you're going to take videos off, then you could remove the videos from your
Okay,
iPad
because you've been saying
without even
iPhone this
connecting
whole
to
time.
iTunes. The way you would do that is find videos. Let's
Okay.
see. There's my videos right there, and your link is going to be the same. So I go into
Okay,
videos.
well, how do I know? Like,
and
I have
I've got
132
a couple
songs,
episodes
49
of James
videos,
Bond in here. I went on a
1,300
big trip
photos.
this
How do I know
weekend,
which
and
one
I've
of those
got a
is the
couple
culprit?
episodes of James Bond and some other stuff. Let me see if I can find them. Well, there's one, and I want to get rid of that thing. I want to swipe it. Well, I don't want to play the Avengers. I'll get sued. Let me see if
It
I can
is
find one in here. I might have already taken them
13.8
off.
gigabyte.
But how do I get out of there?
But don't I need to make sure
1.6.
that if I want to keep those, don't I need to make sure they're on my Mac before I delete
Right.
them off the iPad?
I'm talking about videos that you have, how do I say it, that you've purchased. Videos that you've downloaded, like Breaking Bad, or, season.
I think all these are videos that she's taken.
Well, if that's the case, yeah, and that's very likely the case. If that's the case, then connect that iPad up to iTunes, sync those videos, and those videos are going to move, if they're home videos, they're going to move into iPhoto.
Okay.
Now, it doesn't make sense that iPhoto takes the videos. You would think that they'd go into iMovie, but they don't. They go into iPhoto. After they've pulled all off of the iPad, you're going to get a very important question that's going to pop up, and it's going to say, would you like to delete the content, the photos and the videos off of the iPad? And you're going to say, yes, delete them, because they will have been transferred over to your iMac. There's so many I words, I have to think about what I'm saying.
Okay.
All right?
Alrighty.
Okay. Let's see. I think we've come to the bottom of the list. Sorry, Nancy.
What about
Go,
the time machine thing?
all right, with Time Machine, and I'm having some technical issues.
But don't
I've
I
gotta
need
get
to
a
make
better
sure
computer for
those,
Town
if I want to
Hall.
keep those, don't
I'm
I need to
gonna
make sure they're on my
try
Mac
to
before
jump
I
over to
delete
your
them off the
screen,
iPad?
And let's see if we can take a look at that. Although my machine is not cooperating with me. Let me.
I have a black screen right now.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
Tell
you know
you
what?
guys hang
I
out
think
for a
all
second.
these are
I'm going to log
videos
out of
that
the
she's
meeting and log
taken.
right back in, okay?
She's actually taken.
So everybody bear with me for just a second. I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Welcome to GoToMeeting. Online
Welcome
meetings made
okay.
easy.
To GoToMeeting.
There are 4 other
Online
callers on the call.
meetings made easy. Okay. Okay. There
Okay,
are
who's with me?
4 other alrighty
Callers on the call. See you.
Okay, maybe it should take a second. Am I coming up at all?
What?
Huh.
Oh, wait a minute.
Well,
What about
something sounds like something went wrong with GoToMeeting.
The time machine thing.
I tell you what, I can't see. I don't see anybody coming into the meeting here.
I don't see you.
Well, I'm not sure if we've gotten anybody new in here tonight, but I tell you what, let's do this. Nancy, I'm gonna stay on and work with you and get this issue solved. But I'm gonna close it out for tonight. So everybody else, if you'd like to quit and rejoin, that should solve the problem. Nancy, I'm going to ask you to get off, quit GoToMeeting, and then rejoin GoToMeeting, and I'll be able to see you. So anybody that wants to leave now, go right ahead. If you'd like to come back in, we'll be here working on the issue. But I think GoToMeeting had a problem. I do see Daryl. Daryl just came back. So for those of you who want to hang out, quit GoToMeeting and come back in. Otherwise, I'll see Nancy in a second. So Nancy, if you'll quit and rejoin me.
ahead, Scotty.
Yeah.
I had to quit, come back in again.
Yeah, go to meeting. I don't know if it was on me or whatnot. It looks like Emma Day's coming back in as well. And I'm just waiting on Nancy.
Anytime you want to use me as an example, you can come over to my machine, Scotty.
Okay. All right, Joan's back. This is not riveting television. I apologize. Looks like Nancy's not back yet. By the way, I've been pounded
Scotty.
with text messages tonight and emails while we're in town hall.
Come back
And
in again.
I know that some people probably thought I was being rude by not answering them with these text messages, but trying to get into town hall and things, but I just can't focus enough. Okay, Nancy, are you back with me? Nancy, are you with us?
I'm back.
Okay, I'm going to send a message over
Anytime
to...
you want to use me as a
Okay, I'm going to send a message to take a look at your screen. Thanks for everybody that came back in. Sorry about that. Okay, so if you'll minimize that Safari window by hitting the yellow button or the middle button to get rid of that. And we're going to get down to your...
Here's my time machine right here.
Okay, do this for me. Go to the green icon on your desktop, which is at the very top, and it says Time Machine Backups at the very top of your screen. No, it's on your desktop. It's green, and it's got it says Time Machine Backups on your desktop. Or you can open a Finder window.
I'm back.
There you go.
Yeah, yes, I am now.
That's it. Yeah, double click on that for us. And go to that backups.backupdb folder, which is in that Finder window. And drill down farther into your to your folder. And let's keep on going. Now scroll to the very bottom, and I want to see the last day.
Right here.
All the way to the bottom of that folder. Okay, 923. That's good. That means that you have a backup that's going, but what I think is going on, maybe, Nancy, is that you actually have two backups.
I do.
Yeah, one of them is not backing up, but the other one is backing up. Would that be a fair statement?
Yep.
Okay, so go up to the menu bar at the top right-hand corner of your screen, all the way at the top, and you're going to see to the left of the clock, to the left of the speaker, to the left, and you're going to see a circle with a clock. Click that for us. Okay, so this last backed up during Town Hall today, so that backup is healthy. But Nancy, you know something that a lot of people don't know, and that is that 10.8 Mountain Lion has the ability to back up to multiple drives. And you have probably asked Time Machine to back up to multiple drives, but you have not plugged up the other drive to connect, or something has gone wrong. So you can click out of that, and as we look at your desktop, we see Time Machine Backup Drive, and that's green. And then we see a yellow one, Seagate Backup Drive, over there to the right. That could be the culprit. So let's go and click on that Seagate Backup Drive 2 times. Great. Okay, now you see that backups.backupdb folder? Let's select that backups.backupdb folder and go in and drill all the way down. And let's see the last time that this thing backed up. We know you have a healthy one, and scroll all the way to the bottom. Aha!
That says 923 too.
Well, that's good. So what are you asking me about?
Well, I was getting that error message, but I haven't gotten it in a couple days. It must have backed up and I didn't know it.
Good.
We had a power outage and I wonder if it just cycled itself.
Well, good. Yeah, that means that it's backed up. Now, one more thing I'll fuss about is that one of those drives should not be there right now. Because if you have a break-in or a fire, you've defeated the purpose of those two drives being apart from each other. So.
No, you told me that before when you were here at the house, but I didn't do it.
All right. Well, there you go. So just unplug one of those and get it out of your house. Or if you have a garage or a cottage or a neighbor's house, get that away from your house.
Well, that says 923
because that's the whole point.
I have to bring it back every once in a while and plug it in, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I was getting
but
that
just ensures,
error
Well, it's,
message,
you know
but I
what, if
haven't
you're not
gotten it in
adding
a couple
lot of
days.
data,
It must
then
have
maybe go
backed
for a
up and I
couple
didn't
months. But
know
if
it.
you go to
We had a
Walt Disney
power
World, you
outage,
take
and I
2,000
wonder if it
pictures,
just
maybe you need to go get the hard
recycled
drive, plug
itself.
it up, back up, and then get the drive back out of your house again. But one of those drives should not live in
Okay.
your house.
Okay.
All right? Let's say the worst thing happens, Nancy. You forget to back up. Usually you unplug that drive right now and you walk down the street and you give it to your neighbor,
know,
somebody
you told
that
me
you
that
really,
before
really
when you
trust.
were here at the
not
house,
someone
but
that's
I
going to plug
didn't
that
do
drive
it.
up and go looking through your stuff. But you give that to a family member or
Sorry.
something, and then you forget for a whole year. And then you have a massive, horrible fire, and it burns your iMac and your backup drive.
Then I have to
Worst
bring it
case,
back every once in a
you
while
at
and plug
least
it
can
in,
recover the
right?
stuff from last year and beyond in your life, and
Like
you've only
once a
lost the
month,
last
or
year's
what?
worth of pictures versus your entire life of pictures. So that's really important
Does
to.
it matter? So I literally can just unplug it and then plug it back in. There's nothing I have to do on the computer.
Nope, it'll start back. It'll start back doing its thing. All right.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna
Okay.
open this up to everybody. We've gone through everybody now. Everybody just jump in. Whoever's got a question, yell it out. Go, Bob.
Quick question related to the last question.
Bob raised his hand, and I am a firm believer of raising your hand. And he had his camera on. Bob, take it.
I sent you an email. My wife has a question
Okay.
or two.
I'm gonna upload the iOS 7, but I'll wait now another week.
Yeah.
My daughter said to me that the calendar really looked different.
Yes, it does.
Could you show me that before so I'm not in shock when I see it?
Yes.
Possibly?
Yeah, I'll jump over to it right now. Tell me when. Let me see if I can get my.
Does it matter?
Screen back
So
up and
I
going.
literally can just
Tell me when you can
unplug it
see
and then
my
plug it back in.
computer
There's
screen.
nothing I have to do on the computer.
It's your desktop.
Okay.
Okay.
And then tell me when
Okay,
you
thanks.
can see my phone.
Yep, there it is.
Okay. So yeah, the calendar is pretty
Quick
different
question
on
related
iOS 7.
to
and
the
if this
last
little thing will
question.
cooperate, I'll try to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Okay. Let's see. There's the calendar.
I
icon
sent you an
there.
email. My wife has a
And
question.
This is now what it looks
Or
like.
two.
If you want to go with
I'm
monthly,
gonna
let's see
upload
if I can
the
pull down the
iOS
view.
7, but I'll wait now
the buttons
another
are
week.
now round.
My daughter said to me that the calendar really looked
It's
different.
basically the same thing. It's just you have.
Could you show me
the
that
color
before so I'm
schemes are
not
different
in
now.
shock
Let me
when I see it? Possibly.
That's about it, really. It's just gone around, and everything's white
Okay.
background. That's it. So there's my day.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and enlarge my text.
It's your desktop.
Yeah.
And Scotty, at the start of the section, you mentioned you can enlarge the text on the phone.
Yep,
You can
there it
also
is.
change the color.
No. Oh heavens no! Apple wouldn't let you do that. They probably had 25 people deciding on what color their fonts were going to be all the way across the board. So, nope, they won't let us change that.
Okay, I have two other quick questions. Bob is thinking of getting an iPhone. Now, I have the family plan, and we have just so many megabytes, I've never gone over them. How can he get a request, or what would you suggest?
Will you say that last sentence? Can he
I don't know if I not.
get?
I'm gonna go
And you dropped out.
enlarge
Can
my
he
text.
get?
Yeah, Scotty, at the start of the section, you mentioned you can enlarge the text on the phone. Can you also change the color?
Leave your things open, you're gonna be using megabytes. How can he use it without putting me over on the service at the end of the month?
Black.
Well, first of all, be on Wi-Fi as much as possible. So if you spend a lot of time at your home, there's no reason that you should not
Okay,
be on Wi-Fi. And it's
I have
real
two
easy. You
other
just
quick
slide up,
questions.
click that Wi-Fi button, and then join your Wi-Fi
Bob is
network.
thinking of
So
getting
that's the first
an
thing. As long as you're on a
iPhone.
Wi-Fi network, you're not going to be
Now,
eating
I
data
have the
off of your
family
AT&T
plan,
plan.
we have just so many megabytes, I've never gone
So that's the
over
major
them.
thing. Secondly, yes, you're
How
kind of right that some background apps are still calling
get their
up. So a nice little thing to make you feel better is to do a double click, and then it shows
I
you
don't
all the
even
apps
know-
that are running in the background. And let's say I had an email app running, and I don't want that email app running anymore. I'm going to go over to that email app because it's calling up
I don't
every
want him
few
to
minutes,
use
and I'm going to
all
swipe
the
upward,
megabytes
and I'm
in
going to
error.
cancel that.
You know, if
Swipe
you
up,
leave your things
swipe
open,
up,
you're
and I'm
gonna be
killing
using
those apps. That's a new way
megabytes.
of doing it. I'm swiping
How
up,
can he
and as I swipe
use
up,
it
those
without
apps are no longer talking
putting
to
me
the
over on the
internet
service
at all.
at the end of the month.
All right, so I'm just killing all this, and you see I've got a lot of apps open here.
Instead of clicking.
Right, there's no more of that. So this is a little bit faster, and you can do 2 at a time too, which is kind of fun. So that's another thing you can try to do.
Okay, and I have one more question. I've helped a friend several times get her pictures from her phone to her Mac, and it's always worked. Well, out of the pictures to Facebook, it did not show the newest pictures in either the latest import or in the 12 month. And I was wondering if there might be just a time lag.
You're saying that those pictures are there. If they're on her device, did she plug her device up to the computer?
Oh. Yes, I did that for her, but then I made her take over this time because I wanted her to learn how to do it. And she was clicking too much.
I would say you've probably not taken them off of the device. You go back, plug that device up, open up iPhoto. iPhoto will then see that device and it'll say, oh, there's a camera attached. Would you like us to pull the pictures off? In other words, just go through the process again. So
pictures from her phone.
And then once it's pulled those pictures off, it will ask you the always important question. Would you like to delete them off of the device, or would you like to leave them on the device? The default button, the one that's blue, the one that everybody clicks, is the button that says leave them on the device.
And I was wondering if there
I've
might
said
be
this
just
many
a time
times.
lag.
I don't like to leave them on the device. I would rather take them off of the device so you don't land in the situation that Nancy and I are in right now, that you have 1,400 pictures on your device and you haven't taken them off, and then you can't run your updates. So just trust that the iPhoto got them and that you are backing up and you're safe.
I did that for her, but then I made her take over this time because I wanted her to learn how to do it.
Joan, what did you have for me? I'm sorry, Joan. I kind of cut you off a little while ago.
And she was
What did you have, Joan?
too much.
Related to 2 questions ago. I have a C8 backup for my laptop.
Okay.
And I plug it in once a week. And then every once in a while I get a message that says, your backup wasn't able to be finished. And yet I go into the time machine and it's right up to date.
Yeah, that's normal. I wouldn't worry about that at all. You know, you've seen us twice now tonight go into the backup.backupdb folder and look at the timestamp on that folder. You follow me, Joan, what I'm talking about? If you look at that and you see a timestamp on a folder that's within the last day or so, you can feel really good about Time Machine backup. Time Machine sometimes complains more than it needs to. Hey, the last backup failed. And then people go, what? The backup failed? I mean, I get so many emails on a weekly basis. Scotty, my Time Machine backup failed. And then I go over and I look at it. I'm like, oh, well, it failed once out of 24 times that day. And it's usually okay. Now remember, I'm not talking about time capsule.
Thank you, Scotty.
I'm talking about just the software Time Machine.
Related to
and
2
Time Machine
questions
itself
ago.
is very, very
I
reliable.
have a C8 backup for my
Right, and we saw earlier with Nancy
laptop,
where something
and
happened, there
I
was a
plug it
problem,
in
and then
once
it
a
self-resolved, and that's what I normally see.
Every
is
once
that.
in a while I get a message.
All right, somebody else want to jump in? Holler.
Your backup wasn't
Anybody else?
able to be finished. And yet I go into Time Machine and it's right up to date.
All right, I'm gonna Emma Day, if you could talk a little bit louder and closer to your computer where the microphone is, everybody will be able to hear you. Go ahead, Emma Day.
Yes, yes.
Just to put pictures on. How do you pick pictures to put on the backup?
I'm having a hard time hearing you. Can you ask the question again, Emma Day?
Right.
If I want to back up pictures on one device, what would I have to do to just do pictures?
Can anybody, Daryl, did you hear that?
Yeah, Scotty, she has a device she wants to just put pictures on.
Okay.
Back up those pictures to that device, but just those pictures.
Well, I'm not quite, Emma Day, I'm not quite really understanding the question because you wouldn't back the pictures up to a device. let me say this, and this might not be answering your question, but it is relevant. Your iOS device, an iPad, an iPhone, these are not backup devices. These are devices that you can dump some things onto to walk around and look at stuff. So they are not backup devices by any means. Maybe try to ask your question in a different set of words, Imade. I'm just having a problem kind of grasping the question. I'm sorry.
The device, Scotty, that she's backing up to is the Seagate drive.
Okay, if I want to back up pictures on one device, what would I have to do?
All right, maybe is this your question, Imade? And I think I'm starting to understand it. You want to back up your computer, but you also want a separate hard drive just to back up pictures.
She has a
Is that
device she
correct?
wants to just put pictures on.
Okay. All right.
She wants to know
So
how
if
to
that's
back
what
up
you want,
those
and
pictures to
Imade,
that
I do
device.
encourage you
But
just
just
to
those
do what
pictures.
Nancy's doing, and instead of backing up one drive with Time Machine and another drive manually moving some stuff over, just let Time Machine back up 2 drives. Time Machine will back up 2 drives as long as you're on 10.8 Mountain Lion. Now, Imade, if you're not on 10.8 Mountain Lion, your computer cannot back up to Time Machine on one drive and Time Machine on the other drive. So in your case, if you're not, then the easier thing to do would be to plug up a hard drive. And if you just want to back up those pictures, the answer to that question is, it goes like this. You would open up your hard drive, a Finder window, and you would see your second drive connected that you just plugged up. And I named the name of this time capsule I got in my house here.
Backing up to
Time
is the
capsule
Seagate
sucks.
drive.
But let's say that's my second hard drive.
I wanted to have
I'm going to go drill down into my pictures folder.
but also
So I'm going to go
have
admin,
one drive with
pictures,
just that picture.
and there's
That's
my
how
photo
it's
library
familiar.
right there. That's where all my pictures are. If I take that file and I drag that file onto my external hard drive, not my Time Machine drive, but another drive that you were talking about, if I take that file called iPhoto Library and I drag that and I drop it onto my external hard drive, I've just made a duplicate of all my pictures onto that external hard drive. Takes a little while for it to copy over, maybe a few minutes. Does that answer the question?
I think so, but if I wanted to back up 2 things at the same time, you plug them both in at the same time.
Yes. Yes, as long as you...
Computer and just put them on.
Say that sentence again.
If you connect them to your laptop at the same time, and say backup,
He didn't get his block tonight.
Yes, and if you as long as you have 10.8 under the black apple, you go to About This Mac, and then this window tells us what the version of the Mac is. And in this case, I have 10.8. My version is 10.8.3. So my computer will back up to 2 hard drives at the same time. If I don't have 10.8, I'm not going to be able to use Time Machine to back up to 2 drives. But the way to set that up, and this is what Nancy did, you go into System Preferences, and inside System Preferences, you say, hey, Time Machine, please back up to this external drive. And then you go back into Time Machine Preferences right here in Select Disk. You say, Select Disk. Time Machine, I would like you to back up to this drive. Then after you've done that, you go back into Time Machine, you say, oh, and by the way, Time Machine, I would like you to back up to this drive as well. And then Time Machine will say, oh, do you want us to replace the other one, or do you want us to use both? And you say, use both. And then you're backing up to 2 drives, just like Nancy is. And the beauty of that is that you take one of those drives out of your house, in case you have a catastrophe in your house. That's the whole point of this. All right? Guys, we've come to the end of our hour this evening. I'm going to shut it down. I do appreciate everybody being here tonight. Thank you so much. And I will see you guys. It was wonderful. I had such an amazing time. The America's Cup is still going on right now. It's still Oracle. There's New Zealand against United States, and United States is sponsored by Oracle. And they are hanging in. Man, they've come back. So I suggest you all go to americascup.com or youtube.com/americascup and check it out. It's been the most exciting sailboat race of all time, I think. But I had a great time.
Glad you had fun.
I did. All right, I'll see you guys next Monday.
Thank you.
Bye.